Namaskar. Welcome back to the AI Agents Workshop brought to you by K.A.M.A.L.A, the Kapitwash Association of Modern Logic, Automation, Learning and Career Advancement in collaboration with Hack with India, the biggest hackathon organizer in India, powered by Microsoft Learn, our official certificate issuing partner. Today's topic is function calling using Azure OpenAI. Our esteemed speaker for the day is Mr. Rajat Rajput, my dear friend. Let's have a great session of the AI Agents Workshop. I hope you're all having a good time learning coding. So yeah, as always, let's keep coding, let's keep learning. Or now we know how to make AI agents without coding as well, using the no code method. You can check our video about that as well. So yeah, let's keep learning, let's keep making AI agents, and let's keep excelling in the world of agentic AI. Thank you.
So hello everyone, welcome back to day 7 of AI Agents Workshop brought to you by K.A.M.A.L.A. So today we will be exploring about function calling and its entire concept using OpenAI API. So if you are curious that will you be provided an API to do so, then yes, you will be given an API with a time limit, and within that time limit, that it will be a decent time limit of 2 days. You can practice, follow with all the sessions utilizing the OpenAI API, and you can use it and practice around or play around with it. Anyway, so moving onwards and jumping directly into the concept, function calling in OpenAI allows language models like GPT to go beyond just generating text. They can interact with your own code by invoking functions when appropriate. So you can think of it that they're giving GPT access to various tools and functions which are not necessarily AI related, rather doing something programmatically or sequential, right? So instead of merely answering in plain text, the model can choose to call a specific function that you define, send it in structured inputs, and then use the response from that function to construct its final reply. This makes the AI not just a language generator, rather but a genuine and an actual reasoning engine that knows when and how to use tools for accurate and dynamic results. So you can basically say, if you want to know kind of about the weather, or on a very basic level, or you can say you want to know what is in spreadsheet 59, which is in your office folder on your drive C. So that is what an LLM, if an LLM is able to control it, then you can call it function calling, where you are calling specific functions, and LLM is but not directly. You are kind of inserting a prompt into the LLM, inserting an instruction into the LLM, giving AI agent a task, and that AI agent, as per its own you can say intelligence, selects which tool or which function to opt for and which tool or which function to use, right? So that entire concept is called function calling. So in simpler words, the interactions happens using structured JSON under the hood, making it easy to integrate with code, APIs or any backend system. So even the implementation of it is very simple, which we will also practically implement and see like within a few minutes. Okay, so now let us understand why function calling is useful. Function calling bridges the gap between natural language understanding and real world utility. Without it, the LLMs are limited to just generating guesses and not doing an actual task. But with the help of them, or with the entire concept, GPT can perform actions like fetching real-time data, accessing databases, triggering workflows, or executing code, all in response to a user query. So for example, if you have a employee management AI agent which talks with employees, gathers their weekly reports, daily reports, and fetches you that is all possible because of function calling, because as per LLM's intelligence, it has an access to some external tools or functions which it can call, as it wants. So for example, instead of saying I think the weather in Paris is nice, GPT can actually call a weather API which you only define and return the real temperature. This is a game changer for building chatbots, agents, or assistants that feel intelligent and responsive. It means GPT just does not talk, it can actually do things. So now there's a entire schema involved with it. And what exactly is a schema, or you can say in this context a tool schema? To make GPT aware of your functions, you need to define them using a structured schema, often called the tool schema. This schema is written in JSON format and tells the model what each function is called, what it does, and what input it needs. Basically, a schema is basically a structure in simpler words, right? So every function is mentioned in a structured way, and that entire thing is called tool schema. And the particular base of that structure is JSON, right? So this is written in JSON and includes the function name, a brief description, and the parameters. Each function's parameters must follow the JSON schema standard. First define, you send the schema along with the user's prompt. So very simple, which this is something which you will kind of understand when you actually practically do it. So real world use case. Function calling opens up a new level of intelligence and interactivity in applications. It allows GPT to actually step forward beyond the static knowledge and beyond the static way of responding or guessing to questions or instructions. For instance, you can build a travel assistant that books flights by calling APIs for availability and price, or create a finance bot that fetches livestock data when asked. You can integrate document search tools enabling GPT to pull in summaries or quotes from companies' documents. In IoT scenarios, GPT could even control smart devices like turning off the lights or adjusting a thermostat by calling local APIs. So, so this settles the theoretical aspect, and now we will jump directly into the practical and implementation aspect. So this settles the entire theoretical aspect, and now we will actually code and practically implement what we have learned so far. And we will be coding some basic functions for now using the OpenAI API, which will be provided to you in the description and via an email as well. And that particular API will be available to you for 2 days, so you can play around with it and practice whatever you have learned so far. यहाँ पे कट कर देना है बेसिक सा, ठीक है? तो क्या था वो? हाँ, Azure की ही डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है. Okay. So for reference, I have opened Azure AI Foundry's documentation. Since we will be utilizing Azure OpenAI, not basic OpenAI, so the only difference is that if you actually go and purchase API key on OpenAI's platform, it will be just called an OpenAI API key. But if you purchase it via Azure Cloud, then it is called Azure OpenAI, and the only difference between both of them is when it comes to the practical implementation, as they both use different wrappers, right? So this is a short tutorial on how to use function calling with Azure OpenAI in Azure AI Foundry models, right? So here are a few models. We will be provided with GPT-4o. There are 3 previews here. You will be provided with the latest preview, and there is a whole example which you can directly copy paste and you can get a response out of it. So what we will do is, rather than scratching everything from like line by line, we will just simply copy a template I made, and then we will also copy this, and I will explain you what each and every line in that particular code does. So you will be able to understand, because when working in the field of AI and ML, or maybe LLMs, or with in any of these modules such as NumPy, scikit-learn, and everything, there are functions which repeat itself numerous amount of time. So you don't always have to necessarily code them manually. You can just simply copy paste from the documentation, as long as you are understanding what actually is going on. So if you don't understand what exactly is going on, then please never copy paste. always refer to a tutorial or a blog or an article. But yeah, if you can understand, and or if somebody is teaching you, like I will be telling you what exactly each and every line does, then it's completely fine. So first we will just copy this, or okay, I have a better idea. So simply come to your local machine, or maybe if you are using Google Colab, simply come to your local machine or Google Colab and write this in the terminal. Okay, so you have to write pip install OpenAI, right? So once you have written it, just make a simple empty Python file and come to the documentation and simply copy the imports first, right? And then try to run it. If nothing happens, then your code is working fine. There is no missing import error. And oh, oops, I will simply clear the terminal. Anyway, so these are just our imports. I will explain you what each and everyone does in this particular code base. But for a generic overview or a general summary, this just kind of tells us about the time zone. A date time default Python module which plays around with date and time is your OpenAI wrapper, which I mentioned earlier. For reading and writing JSON files or schemas, and for interacting with the operating system. Why are they needed? You will eventually understand as we proceed further. So we will copy the first block, which is to initialize the Azure OpenAI client, right? So Azure OpenAI client will ask you three things: the endpoint, the API key, and the API version, right? And also the deployment name. But we will copy it later anyway. So in my template, I already have these kind of defined. You will be able to access to them from the link in the description. So don't worry about it. So when configuring the LLM client, the Azure OpenAI wrapper is used. It asks for the API version, the API endpoint, and the API key. That's pretty self-explanatory, but kind of you can think of it as that API version tells on which day and date the API was released. The API endpoint, because APIs are usually accessed via endpoints. There is no fixed kind of a system or you can say a piece of hardware. It is always accessed via a specific IP address that is usually masked, and then the API key, which acts as a password. So nothing complex. Then you need to define the deployment you want to use for your chat completion API call. So one is your OpenAI wrapper can have multiple models deployed within it. So you need to define that as well. For this tutorial, we will be using GPT-4o. Right? GPT-4o. So now there is an entire function which what exactly it does is that it gets the current time, like the time right now. So we will just simply copy it entirely. You don't need to go too deep on it. The prerequisite of AI Agents Workshop that you must be aware about Python, and if you actually sit and try to understand, this function does nothing other than that if you give it a location, it will tell you its time zone, right? So we will just kind of ignore that particular part, because what we here are to we are here to understand about Azure OpenAI and more out function calling, right? So for function calling, we have a function now which is get current time, which acts as a tool for the LLM to utilize when a question regarding it is asked. And then we have this entire code to run the conversation, right? So I will just simply copy it, and now I will first simply try to run it. So we have a surety that our code is right, and it is running. And yes, it is running. So it says the current time in San Francisco is 2:36 a.m. We'll just try to confirm it. 2:36 a.m. So the API is right. So let us understand what it actually happened here, because it directly giving or asking LLM the time and not giving it the ability to website scrape it from somewhere else, it will be not able to tell us, right? So we have a user message, which is our message to the LLM, and it is that what's the current time in San Francisco, right? Then we have defined tools for the model. So in tool we have type. So what type of tool it is? It is a function tool. Then we have a key value pair where the key is function and its value is an entire JSON schema, the tool schema which I told talked to you about earlier. So the name of the function is get current time. Description of the function, that is for the LLM, because LLM's intelligence will tell if this particular function can be used or not. What parameters will it take? Right, for what parameters that particular function will take? It will take an object, and the properties of that object would be that it will be of type string. And why it is required? It's simple. The parameter description, you can say. And what is required? The keyword location is required, right? So we can cross check it from here, get current time, location. So we have get current time and its entire definition and the location. So the first API call, ask the model to use the function, right? So client.chat.completions.create is basically to so here's the thing. Some models are used for logical reasoning, and some models are used for chat completions. Chat completions basically means that whatever you ask, it will answer, right? But in a tone where it is answering either to your questions or to your instructions, like it can adapt its tone, right? So we need to create a chat completion, and throw it into a variable. It uses our model, it has the messages, has the necessary tools, and the tool choice is auto. With the keyword auto, it tells the LLM to choose automatically whether to use it or not, right? And then we have to process the model's response. So the response dot choices, the first message it gets, and then it appends into a list. I am guessing it is appending it into an empty list or something, and it is just bringing us the result out of it, right? So here is a very big output from it, but yeah. So basically what the rest of the code does is that it handles the function call, right? So if tool call dot function dot name is get current time, then the function arguments. So basically it is printing or logging a lot of information, but for the user, the only thing which it should show is this: the current time in San Francisco is 2:36 a.m. So what if we remove the logging, and what if we don't ask it about the time in San Francisco? What if we input something else? So firstly we will remove all the logging. We will find all the print statements. We will only print the response message. We will remove this and this, and no calls were made by okay. So this is a crucial one. Cannot remove that. All right, then it should work. Okay. I should found in San Francisco. All right. So I believe it should work now. If I run it again. Sorry. Okay, so it is sending the call to an API. Okay, the logging is kind of a bit removed. We will remove it further with the response message as well, as we don't want unnecessary things spamming in our console. So the time zone found for San Francisco, the current time in San Francisco is 2:41 a.m. Right, so it works. It is calling the function. Time zone found. We will remove this print statement as well. We will remove this print statement as well. We just want to know the current time in one single output line. So the current time in San Francisco is 2:41 a.m. without any unnecessary logging. Although while development you may need to log everything, because it is better that way to identify bugs and solve it. So what if now I give it a prompt which does not utilize any tool, right? So here was the question: what's the current time in San Francisco? So, hi, how are you? If I ask it now, if I run this particular prompt, it will say no tool calls were made by the model. I am just a virtual assistant, but thanks for asking. How can I help you today? So the LLM is working as the way it should, right? And I will quickly switch back to the presentation. All right. So the LLM is working as it is supposed to, right? So with the help of these external tools, you can actually get some tasks done. So we can also make a function call which manages Excel, sends email, and does a lot of different things. So for that, we have bonus sessions where we will be developing an actual AI agent as well via function call only. So stay tuned for that, and let's conclude today's session. So function calling transforms GPT from a passive conversational agent into an active participant that can take meaningful actions. By defining tools and letting the model decide when and how to use them, you create assistants that are grounded, reliable, and truly helpful. It's a powerful feature that bridges language understanding with real-world APIs and backend logic. Whether you are building chatbots, agents, or automations, this capability is central to making AI practically useful. With just a bit of JSON and thought prompting, you can give your assistant superpowers. Thank you so much for attending day 7 of AI Agents Workshop, brought to you by the community K.A.M.A.L.A. And we will be bringing more session, maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow. And hope you guys are enjoying this entire workshop or bootcamp so far. If you have any doubts, you can join our Discord channel for the same. And yeah, see you in the next one.